So the first thing they teach you in journalism school is don't be the story. And I don't plan to break that rule today or distract from a fantastic finals. But I also don't want to let this moment pass without saying how much I respect, how much I value our colleagues here at ESPN, how deeply, deeply sorry I am for disappointing those I hurt, particularly Maria Taylor, and how grateful I am to be part of this outstanding team.
Well, Rachel, I want to say thank you. Thank you for accepting responsibility for your actions. You know, as someone that has known you for a long time, you know, being around you, you have treated me with the utmost respect, and you always made me feel comfortable in your presence. And I know your heart. You know, great person, great individual. I also know Maria Taylor, great person as well. Very, very talented, hardworking, and I feel like she also deserves every opportunity that is presented her way. My only hope is that we have a commitment overall to support each other through this process and continue to support each other through our journey.
No, I agree with Perk. Let me first say this. I fully support Maria Taylor. I've worked with her since I joined ESPN at Get Up and Countdown, and I've known Rachel for 20 years. Rachel and our entire group here have had some very difficult conversations over this time period, and those conversations don't end here. We will continue to have uncomfortable conversations. No one is excused. She is not excused. I am not excused. Perk. This doesn't just go away, but we have to learn and understand it and become better for each other, and really through our actions more than anything. And that is our responsibility. And we all have a role in that, and that's something that I take pride in, and I hold to myself and everyone to a very high standard.
Well, thank you guys both for being with me here today. Thank you, everyone out there, for being with us here today. Just below us is Media Day here at the NBA Finals. The Suns and Bucks getting ready to address what is one of the biggest moments of so many players' careers. We will have all of the sound, all of the action for you. Welcome to The Jump.
One, through that part.
We are indeed live from Phoenix, Arizona, the site of NBA Finals Media Day. It's also where Game 1 of the Finals will be played tomorrow between the Suns and Bucks. Welcome to The Jump. I am indeed Rachel Nichols, joined by a couple of our NBA champs, Kendrick Perkins, Richard Jefferson. Do you think people get the two of you confused? No?
Most of the time.
Okay, just checking. We will have full coverage of NBA Media Day. We're going to talk all about this matchup. We might have some special guests joining us, but first I do want to talk about this series. According to Caesars Sportsbook by William Hill, the Suns opened as slight favorites to win this series. They're also listed as the favorites in Game 1 tomorrow specifically. So, Richard, you who very bravely, when the Suns were up 3-1 in the Western Conference Finals, put yourself out there and picked Phoenix. Do you agree with them being listed as the favorites in this series?
Yeah, but see, you gotta give the context. I didn't just think that they were going to win the series. At that moment, I said that the Phoenix Suns were going to win it all. They're going to win the championship. Now, for the first time ever, Perk and I are going to agree on how they're going to go about it. But the difference between Perk and I is that I won't waver and I won't change as the series progresses. I believe the Suns are going to win this in 6.
Well, I don't waver and I don't change. I stick to what I believe in. But look, you were just in Vegas, and this is how much I believe in the Phoenix Suns. I wish you would have told me before we got on the show that you went to Vegas, you know, yesterday and had a good time.
Yeah.
Because I would have told you to bet my house on it. That's how much faith I have in the Phoenix Suns right now. Yeah, for the simple fact that they're not lacking at anything, right? When you look at their depth, they have, you know, two awesome backcourt in Devin Booker and Chris Paul. They have shooting. They have a defensive identity. They have a young star in DeAndre Ayton that anchors the defense and who's everything that you want in the center position. And then when you look at their bench, Cameron Payne, Cam Johnson, Cyrus, they have a lot of depth. They play with a sense of urgency on the defensive end. They play agenda-free basketball. And when I'm watching this Suns team and looking at them having to go against the Milwaukee Bucks, who you said plenty of times, right, Richard, that they're one of the dumbest teams in the NBA.
I never said it publicly, but thank you for telling everyone that I said that. Thank you. I appreciate
whatever.
that.
I mean, you know, hey, whatever. But they are. I agree with you.
Yeah.
So with that being said, you're looking at the Phoenix Suns, Rachel, and they have one of the highest IQs in the game of basketball. And so they make you pay for having dumb mistakes.
Well, look, I'm going to go on record saying that I don't agree with either of you about the Bucks, so we can say that. They made it to the NBA Finals with Giannis Antetokounmpo hurt. I think you got to give them credit for that.
Shout out Chris
Middleton, mainly because Kevin Durant's feet are too big, but we'll talk about that another time.
But also, certainly the Suns are coming into this as the favorites, and one of the reasons is the man you are about to hear from. We're going to go down to the floor where Media Day is happening. Our Dave McMenamin is with DeAndre Ayton.
All right, wonderful. Thanks, guys. DeAndre, 22-year-old kid from the Bahamas. What's the significance to make the finals at this stage of your career?
I'd say one word: consistency. You know, coming out the bubble, I finally learned the true meaning of professionalism, and I just stuck with it. You know, it's a thing that's leading the wins, and why not? And, you know, it came with the whole team sticking together and just being on each other and doing the right thing.
No one's questioning your professionalism. We've seen it throughout these playoffs, but you also have fun with the game and with all the entrapments around the game. Tell me about those dance moves that you showed off on the court after Game 6 in LA.
It's a TikTok dance my sister showed me, and I just was just doing the same thing she showed. It was something popular, and, you know, I just was having fun, just getting in my vibe, getting in the mode, and, you know, just embracing the moment.
You said that Chris Paul is the best thing that's happened to your career. How has his influence not just affected you, but your entire Suns team this year?
Just the way how we approach the game, period. The dude doesn't stop. He's consistent on how he just became CP. And, you know, it's something us young guys, we pick up on, and we respect him at a high level. And, you know, he respects us the same, and, you know, just to get the same respect and in the locker room, off the court, and a dude like him, who's a Hall of Famer, just, you know, doing what he does and for who he is, it's something you can't really talk about. It's just, you feel like a Michael Jordan or, you know, like LeBron James on the court with you, and to see him every day, you just start to pick it up. It just starts to pick up.
So, DeAndre, Hillcrest Prep, right, in Arizona, University of Arizona Wildcats, like our jump producer, Danny Corrales. Shout out to Danny. And now you're a Phoenix Sun. What's it been like to have this journey here and to have the fans here see your basketball life play out in front of them?
Being here since I was 16, high school, college, now the league, it's actually insane. I'm used to Phoenix, but I was never used to being at the top level while being in Phoenix. And, you know, to see the fans give us this much love and support, you know, it just wants you to keep going. You know, you want to put on the show for your people and, you know, just to get the city wild and just, you know, just love us. And, you know, the position we're at today, we're here to really leave a stamp and just, you know, put our heads down and keep working.
It's been a wonderful run so far. We have to end on a serious note here. We don't know what's going to happen on the other side of the ball with the Milwaukee Bucks and their health and availability, but you could be facing a two-time MVP in Giannis Antetokounmpo. How do you prep for that?
Mainly just matching his physicality and just at the end of the day, just competing. You cannot back down from the challenge. Just knowing his foul awareness, being the first man on defense, and just showing him a wall. You know, at the end of the day, you want to stay between him and the ball scores, and just being ready for the challenge, period.
You're going to be like a kid on Christmas Eve tonight. Going to be tough to sleep. A game one tomorrow. Thanks so much for the time.
Thank you, boss.
You got it.
Lovely. Thank you, Dave. Thank you, DeAndre. What did you guys like about what you heard there?
I mean, his maturity level, his growth. You know, you can always tell a guy that has a high IQ, the way that he talks about the game of basketball. You could tell DeAndre Ayton is growing. Mm-hmm. You could tell he's a student of the game now, and he takes his craft more seriously.
Yeah, no, well, I think it takes time. You have to grow, and ultimately you have to absorb stuff. And I think he had been doing that over a time period. Mm-hmm. And then when you add Chris Paul to that mix, it's like, oh, no. This is not about you figuring it out. This is about me showing you the way. And sometimes coaches will allow a player to figure it out and give him the time on the court. But I think now you're starting to see that confidence. You're starting to see him, you know, see what's going on. Even then, taking on that challenge of Giannis. Well, this guy was a #1 pick, right? And there were other people there. You had the Luka, you had the Trae Young, but here you have the Phoenix Suns with the #1 pick about to play in the NBA Finals.
What I love is how much he realizes the factors that have come into play in his career. He's still in his early 20s. I mean, it's hard to sometimes remember that. And he is very open about the fact that when Monty became the coach here, that Monty said to him, "You're not working hard enough," right? Monty has that expression, "I'm not calling you out, I'm calling you up." And he said, "I'm calling you up. I think you can work harder. I think you can do better." And that changed the amount of time he spent in the gym, the way he approached playing basketball. And then, of course, Chris Paul coming here, as DeAndre says, he yells at me every day. But he also added that Chris Paul coming here has changed the course of his career. He says it's one of the favorite guys he's ever played with. And I think that openness on DeAndre's part to feedback and to be willing to learn from two men like Chris Paul and Monty Williams, I just think it speaks volumes about him, because we see sometimes young players who don't want to be told anything. And here is a guy who has taken in the expertise of the people around him, and he's in the NBA Finals in part because of it.
You can't be coddled to greatness. So all these parents, all these coaches that want to coddle, they're great players and they don't want to push them. It's like, well, you're not helping them become great.
Right.
And there's one thing that I think everyone on this panel and everyone in the NBA knows: Chris Paul does not coddle.
Yes.
Chris Paul does not coddle.
Well, speaking of Chris Paul, he was just speaking, and he talked a little bit about why things just feel different in the NBA Finals. Take a listen.
It's different. Obviously, having practice here, not at the practice facility, but it's still basketball. I think we all locked into the goal at hand, and not much. Just I don't know. It's weird, no games being on. I usually watch games every day, so that's probably the part that sucks. That's probably the part that sucks the most. But I'd rather be playing than not. But other than that, just life.
Pretty fun to see someone who has spent 16 years waiting for this moment, have it wash over him that he is here. What does it say about Chris Paul that he has finally broken through the thing that everyone, Kendrick, held him accountable for? Well, he's never reached the finals.
Well, it says a lot, and I go back to what I said last week about it's not what you do, it's how you do it, and the journey he chose to do it in for us reaching the finals. We all know at the age of 36, he could have chose to sit down with Sam Presti, negotiate a buyout, whatever the case may be, and could have went to a contender, probably picked somewhere like the Lakers or Miami or Milwaukee. But he chose to come to Phoenix with a young core that has zero playoff experience and come here and lead them. That's what makes it so special. And I get it. People could talk about the injuries to the Lakers, Jamal Murray being out, whatever the case may be.
What about the injuries to Chris Paul?
Yeah, right. But
the shoulder, COVID,
absolutely.
the wrist?
But he came in, he embraced these young guys. These young guys followed his lead, and look where they at right now. So at the end of the day, I want to go back to a lot of people take the regular season for granted. They were the number 2 seed. So they put themselves in a position to be where they at right now.
Yeah, and that's why they have home court advantage. Like all of these people want to talk about, what is, the Phoenix Suns and their journey. But even the Chris Paul, I really don't think that Chris Paul, his situation changes by getting to the finals. I think if he wins the championship, then I think he will be held in a different regard. But I'm proud of him. I'm excited for him. I went to the finals my first and second year and then didn't go again till my 15th year. So there was a 13-year gap between me going to NBA Finals. Shut up. Between me going to the finals. But part of that is because you got to put the work and you got to be persistent.
Richard, you've been to 4 NBA Finals.
Yes. Yes.
Kirk, how many for you?
5.
Just saying.
Yeah, I'm one it's all good, though.
We've got more to come from
both got 1 win, so technically you're less successful than me.
What? How?
Percentage-wise. He's 1 for 5. I'm 1 for 4.
Oh, my. We have more to come here from NBA Media Day. We have more from the two of them.
Simple
Here's
math.
a distant replay, though. This date, USA Basketball in 1990.